I was a diehard liberal for most of my life. I was one of those obedient leftists who loved FDR because he was a man of the people, even though he threw Japanese people in internment camps and turned away Jews trying to escape Hitler. I thought Democrats were passionately anti-war, even though Democrats started most of the United States wars of the 20th century. I thought the left was tolerant and caring, and as a result, understood how to solve the many problems facing our society. But as it turns out, for all that tolerance, many turn rabid and hateful when you assert rights they don't like or hurt their feelings and disagree with their government-based solutions. For all their talk of empowerment, they're also constantly playing the victim, looking for someone to blame instead of taking responsibility for their own lives and well-being. For all their beliefs in freedom in the form of support for cannabis legalization and being and marrying whoever you want, they won't acknowledge other forms of freedom, instead often supporting the Federal Reserve's monopoly on currency and restrictions on self-defense. Despite their coexist mentality, they covet control of the government so they can impose their will on others, even if those others have moral objections and don't want to fund programs and policies liberals demand. This lust for power leads them to endorse endless debt and to make excuses for politicians and ideologies even when they are provably corrupt and don't achieve the goals they claim to. So that was me. I even proudly displayed this poster in my bedroom until I started to recognize the belief system for what it really is: authoritarian, intolerant, and hypocritical, just like this country's other ideological half. Despite their love of the term snowflakes, just like the left, many on the right throw temper tantrums when people break with their political correctness, and they're happy to force you to fund big government programs they like. Despite their proud, brave patriotism, they too insist they're the victims, constantly lashing out at others and blaming everyone but themselves for problems in society. For all their beliefs in economic and gun rights, many are happy to send government agents with guns to stop people from exercising other kinds of freedom. Despite claiming to be anti-government, like those on the left, many on the right seek to control the state so they can force the rest of us to submit and fund programs they believe are necessary and moral, even when they lead to catastrophic debt. This desire for power and control leads them, like the left, to make excuses for their chosen leaders, ignoring evidence that they're not living up to their principles. When I was a liberal, like many liberals today, I devoted so much energy to hating conservatives and Republicans for all of these reasons, not realizing the left was the other side of the same coin. Until, that is, I started to free myself from the Obama hysteria and saw my own ideological contradictions reflected in the right-wing faction of this country, ultimately learning that all partisanship leads to cognitive dissonance. As it turns out, most people on both sides of the aisle and most people who believe in any kind of political authority are acting with good intentions and from their own sense of morality, however misguided and drunk on government they may be. But as they lash out at each other and insist everything would be better if only they had total power and if their partisan enemies didn't, they embody the qualities they loathe about each other while ignoring the government's inherent disregard for freedom. Look, if I can get over being a dogmatic, hardcore liberal, we should all be able to free our minds from the indoctrinated belief that we have the right to control otherwise nonviolent people through the violence of the state.